So what these humanitarian and development NGOs do is they reposition the issue of climate change. It's not about polar bears, it's also about polar bears, but it's about people, it's about health, it's about safety of our country, it's about real here and now issues instead of the long-term future of some animals. So that's what we want, and I think we made a, actually if you the Rabobank did an analysis of to which organizations people link the issue of climate change. And the first was, everybody can expect, is World Wildlife Fund, because it's all about polar bears. But the second organization is very interesting, is the Red Cross. So the Red Cross is in the Netherlands seen as the major climate change, one of the two major climate change organizations. And it's quite interesting they reposition the issue of climate change and make it a social issue, and actually they help us as environmental NGOs to get better policies through. So that's the way we work together.
The global element, and that really is very important because, you know, within the group of 8 countries, meeting not so very far away in northern Germany. Cheerio. I would answer the question about trees, but maybe too late now. Fine. There's a huge challenge because you know, we had a discussion with one of the negotiators from the UK government about the G8 discussion, which is also involving India, China, Mexico, Brazil, South Africa at the moment too, and you know, and the UK is about as good as it gets. Merkel has taken quite a progressive line from the German presidency point of view. Well, you know, there's a bit of division in Europe, but it's not too bad in the global scheme of things. And then you've got the US and Canada and Japan, all of whom are pretty intractably against any kind of significant action on climate, and certainly trying to get this mention of 2 degrees out of the final communique, which you may have seen in the papers over the past few days. And then the +5, the developing countries, all of whom, in their own economic interests, understandably, in the face of complete intransigence from the US and Canada and Japan, don't want to sign up to anything at all. And so if you set it in that context, there is really a very significant problem at the global level. So we can put a lot of pressure, and we have been doing, on the UK government, and we think that's very important. And you know, they say to us constantly, why are you putting the pressure on us? It's actually the others that are the problem. And we say, well, until we see the policies we need to see in the UK, we won't stop doing that, because the UK's carbon dioxide emissions actually increased last year by 1.25%. And so it's the UK government rhetorically very, very strong, but actually not doing what it needs to do. I mean, there's no policies at the moment in place to deal with the problem on the level that needs to be the case. So the biggest political problem, having said all of that, and it's the same in every single country, is that the policies required are tough, really, really tough. And anybody that tells you that we can do this without hurting is actually not being truthful. And so we need a consensus in countries, particularly the more enlightened countries, where actually we campaign publicly a lot in order to give politicians the space to make the decisions they need to, and send a very clear message to business. And I think business is really, really important in this regard too. So if you go to climatechange.org, you will actually see the majority of that website is about what you can do in your workplace. Because if employees are saying to, employees of particularly bigger companies, but employees across the country in the UK are saying to their employers, we want you to do something about this too, then that actually sends a very strong message. So it's about political space in the end. It's about trying to get political space for proper action on the issue, as well as making sure the pressure is kept up on politicians to do it and to deliver.